to this episode of Mindset Go. And remember, when you change your mind, you change where you go. And this week, we figured we'd talk about...
Who are you? You didn't say your name. Everybody out there don't know who you are.
Y'all guys don't know who I am by now?
No.
Okay. Welcome to Mindset Go. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ty Woods. And today's topic...
See, I'm so eager just to jump right in there. And...
Goodness, you can't even introduce yourself. These people don't know you like that. You gotta warm up to them. You in their home right now. You're in their home. They invited you. They invited us.
They could be at work.
Or you could be at... What you doing at work on the computer?
They try to become better at changing their mindset.
So they don't have to go to work anymore.
Exactly.
Well, at least not that job.
They've been following, you know. I mean,
not that just over broke.
Yeah. So we've been having really good reviews. I want to thank everybody for watching.
Thank you. We're at like 100 views, which is not a lot in the world of YouTube, but in our world, that means like at least 50 of y'all watched it twice, or maybe 100 of y'all really watched it.
A few times myself.
Okay, so 5 views is from him, and maybe 2.
She watched it too.
Or 3, or maybe 5 from me too.
Okay, enough of that. Can you take 2 minutes and share actually some findings that you found with the SBA?
Oh, last week
Right?
we talked about starting a janitorial service. Who would have thought that just a few days later on a website, if you go to the SBA.gov website, there is a link that says small businesses, and then you click on federal business opportunities. And I clicked on it and it shows you all of these federal contracts, millions of dollars of federal contracts where they are soliciting for your business. And just, Friday, there was a posting for a janitorial service in Texas. If you're in South Texas, check it out. To clean and to maintain, like, plumbing and stuff like that. 9 government facilities. Now you're talking about roughly maybe about $20,000-$30,000 a month of new income from these federal contracts. Now, if you're in the South Texas area, I strongly urge you to go ahead and look at that contract opportunity, because this is huge. And then I thought about it. What if you started a business based on the needs of the government? Because the government always need help. They need outside help, and they're called contractors. Yeah. Well, one of our companies is applying for a federal contract in March, and we've just recently last summer applied for another federal contract that we are sure we're going to win, but we're not going to tell you what it is just yet. But until we win it, then you're going to know, and it's going to be huge.
Humongous.
Don't tell nobody. Y'all the only ones know. Now, if I hear this, somebody calling me talking about, I heard about a federal contract y'all applied for, I'm going to know you said something.
So today's topic, I always think about the age-old question. Are leaders born or are they made?
Are you born or are you made?
What you think?
A leader. Well,
what you think,
you're a leader.
I'm a leader. Go ahead.
Were you born a leader? Have you been a leader all your life?
I would say some of the characteristics of a leader I've always kind of been, but definitely time has made me a leader or a better leader to be able to, actually do what it says, to lead people.
I don't think so.
You don't think I've always been a leader?
I don't think so. I think he was a follower that was put in a position to be a leader because he had to be. and not because he was born.
Now, most people who don't have leadership qualities are never put into leadership positions, which means you're a leader.
Well, that doesn't mean you didn't have leadership qualities. I'm just saying. If we were kids, I would be bullying you in the sandbox.
A bully is not a leader.
I am.
Yes, it is a leader.
Yes, they are the leaders.
They are leaders.
I was the kid that had the other kids following me. And not that it was a bad thing, but
so you was a bully.
It probably was because I'm the oldest of 5 girls.
So everybody was like,
and so it was like,
right.
You know, what I did. Well, my sisters would tell you I was a little bossy.
Bossy.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm off this camera, right? It's just a little bit.
Okay, maybe a lot, but
exactly. So,
but I believe I was born to be a leader.
So do I. I've always had people gravitate toward me and actually do.
I don't think so.
See what I have to deal with. See what I have to deal with out here. But I'm such a great leader that she married me.
Yeah, I don't think if he wasn't a leader, I wouldn't have married him because honestly, I have a bold, strong personality, and those of you who know me know that. And it takes a special kind of person to deal with this type of leader. And it also takes a very humble person because I am a leader with strong traits of excellence. I get a lot of awards and invited to a lot of things, and I'm at the forefront a lot. And he has to actually be my, what is it called? Like, what did I call you?
No, I call myself. I'm the trophy husband.
He calls himself the trophy husband. Because
sometimes the roles reverse, where she has to be the trophy wife. And, we mingle with different people. And a lot of times, in the past scenarios, I always get dressed and I say, oh, it's time to be that trophy husband. And I get in and I mingle and then people start talking. They say, wow, you're very intelligent, or what else do you do? I know you do something else in connection to what she's doing.
Right.
So it helps. Now let's get back to the topics.
Okay, so let's talk about what type of leader you are, because we're going to talk about different forms of leadership, but we're not going to touch on all of them because there's so many
leadership styles.
I think it was more than 8. Well, however, there are so many leadership styles that we cannot address them all in this show. But what we're going to do is post it on the website, mindsetgoshow.com. And
There'll be a link to download.
Yeah, you can download it and make a copy and try to find out where you are. Because, once you find out what type of leader you are, then you will not put yourself in a position like a job, or even as a leader in your own business, you won't put yourself or your employees in an awkward position, because you are leading by a certain leadership style that's not
right. And I think it's very helpful in becoming a leader to identify where you at and make strides to become a better leader. And and as we go through the list really quick, I will point out the leader that I am, and then a leader that I strive to become more like. Yeah. So what's the first one?
So the first one is a tyrant. We all know
she was bullying her sisters. Do what I say. Go ahead.
Okay. I didn't use physical force.
You did use physical force.
Okay. My sisters won't validate that though, right? But you usually rely on threats and punishment to kind of get your point across or to influence your employees.
Right.
You have, job. If you want your job, you gonna be here because I told you to be here. Yeah. You're like, but I've already worked 40 hours. And then they say, well,
you want a job, don't you?
You want a job, don't you?
And they don't really trust their employees. Yeah. They're there just kind of like robotically just to fulfill the assignment or the task. Right. But they really don't have any trust in that person.
And because they don't trust you, they're not going to entrust you with other tasks. They'll try to do the task themselves, so they're not going to delegate the task to you. and they're not going to ask for your input. They're not going to ask you, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Because actually what they think is best anyway. And that's the only way.
It's kind of like the do it my way.
Or the highway.
Or the highway type attitude.
Yeah. My way or the highway.
You don't like it?
Get out
of here. You know,
have your boss ever said that? If you don't like it, you can leave. Like, you know you can't leave. You got bills to pay. They know you can't leave. You got kids. But
for all my entrepreneurs out there, remember, it might be a way for you to step away and start that business.
If you have a tyrant boss, I'm going to tell you right now, if it's giving you a hard time, you might want to take a look into starting your business now.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to get any easier. A tyrant is a tyrant by personality and by environment, and it's just the way they are, and you can't change them. Even though you've taken your grievances to them, it's nothing that you can do. But in certain cases, a tyrant is actually a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where the tyrant is so enforcement. Let's say if you're on a time crunch, that tyrant sometimes can pull everything together in that timely fashion to get the assignment or the task done.
Right.
Just not that maybe that person's method may not necessarily be to the benefit of the employees or those working underneath them, because a lot of times they say, well, I don't care anything about your feelings. You know, it's about the assignment or the vision.
Well, you might see this a lot with government jobs. There is a hierarchy, the captain or the general, especially in the military, and when their authority is being questioned, then the person that is senior in authority can actually exert their authority over that employee by saying, this is an order. Like, you do it because it's an order, and not because of anything else, because I am over you. And that is sometimes, and actually our president does it a lot. He does things, and anybody who's in power, when you have that power to make something happen, then, hey, you do it because I said so, because I'm the one that's in authority. And when a decision has to be made, the person that's the tyrant, they will make the decision without consulting with anyone, and sometimes it's the best decision.
Yeah, so, sir, there are times where that tyrant personality or that tyrant trait of leadership can be a benefit. So the next one is the laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire.
What is
as
that?
They say in French, whatever would be, will be. And that's the person that's the laid-back boss. The boss that lets you do anything you want.
Yeah. What you think about that?
I don't care. What you think about that?
What you think about that?
I don't know. You should go ahead and do what you feel. I think.
But I want to do what you figure I should do. What you think I should do?
I think you should just go ahead and do what you want to do.
Oh, okay.
Those are the type of bosses that actually you will never see them like really make a firm decision.
Yeah, they're kind of in between decisions at all times.
I don't know. But it's a good leadership style for certain situations.
Right. If you have a bunch of educated people, that laissez-faire person is kind of relying on the people with the skill set that they don't have, and that person then relies totally on them to make the competent decision.
Right. Like, for example, I have a master's degree. I'm an MBA.
Yay!
Okay, I didn't say that to get an applause, but thank you anyway, and thank you anyway. But in certain situations, I have enough experience and education that when I'm put into a setting where I can thrive, I really don't need any supervision, because I can get the job done on my own.
Right. It's hard. It's in those situations when you have a group of leaders. That those people can come together and get assignments done more faster.
Correct. So I'm not saying that being a laissez-faire is a bad thing. When you have a bunch of leaders in the room, it's actually a good thing, because it could be very annoying to have a tyrant in the room.
A tyrant who's a micromanager.
Who's a micromanager.
Oh,
well. We all know at least one.
Who is a micromanager.
I don't like that, because what it does is that it makes me feel less competent in what I'm brought in to do. You brought me in to perform a task, a job, and that's why you hired me. So if you're going to micromanage me, then you do it. I've said that before too. I'm at the point now, I'm too old, too educated, and too bold, and I'm making too much money on my own.
You still look young to me.
Well,
I got you speechless. I
couldn't come up with it.
I still got it.
I couldn't come up with a good comeback because I was going to say something smart or sarcastic, but it was so good I couldn't bring anything negative behind that. So, with that said, let's talk about the next leadership style, which is a servant leader. And you would think that this is the highest leadership style, but it's actually a form of leadership style that also has its weaknesses. We always talk about leaders like Jesus, who was a servant leader, a lot of people who lead by example are examples of servant leaders. I endeavor to be that, and I try to be that even for my for the Opportunity Knox staff, for the campus tax staff. I try to be accessible, and I try to do the tasks that they are doing, I have done.
Right. In
my company, and none of the companies that I have ever worked for, will I ever say, I'm above that position.
Yeah.
I will always get down and do the lowest job, and I will always do it with excellence. And I believe that I'm considered a servant leader in training, because had I not developed in this area, I could be a borderline tyrant, because I am such a perfectionist and I like the way things operate when I do it. But I'm learning how to embark on my team members and get them to do stuff for me, especially if I hired them to do a job.
Right. And this is the leadership style I was referring to for myself. I've developed myself to be a servant leader because, like Ty, I've generally I'm a perfectionist. It's just the way my mind works. And initially, I was a person who I wouldn't wait for somebody if they, was moving too slow on something, or I just watch it. I got it. I'll do it. But that person never learned how to develop in that case. Right. So I've developed myself. Now I am a servant leader who goes out. I show people if they get it wrong. I will train them and let them go back and do it, and not do it for them, because that person never learns. I model myself to be a servant leader for people.
A good example, speaking about Jesus being a servant leader, he kind of handicapped his disciples a little bit, because he would go around doing all the healings and the miracles, and then when it came time for his disciples to do it, they couldn't do it, and they ran back to Jesus and said, "It's not working." And Jesus, he stepped in and he said, "Hold on, I got this." Boom.
But the good thing about that is that even with Jesus, over time, they learned how to do it and go out and do the healing and stuff like that. So Jesus did model it.
He did model it.
Yeah.
But he had to do it first in order for them to catch on to it. And that's the whole point of being a servant leader, is that sometimes in your business, or even at your job while you're still working,
you got to come from behind that desk and get down in the trenches and to get the task or the assignment done.
Because sometimes they don't even respect you until you have shown them that you can do what they can do. And sometimes they can do more than what you can do, and you have to show them that you can do it. They don't think that you know how to do it.
I think, though, with the servant leader, I've learned from my own personal experience, people develop more trust for you, more respect for you, because they see you right alongside of them, doing the work. They see your capability, and you're still there and empowering them to do the best that they can do.
Right. So the last one we're going to talk about today on this show, and
which
then the rest,
I believe is most likely the best leader, and it's the one that I'm striving to become.
It's called the transformation leader.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many of you all have seen Transformers?
Who hasn't
seen Transformers?
You know.
Well, the characteristic or the traits of a transformer is that you start off as one thing and then you become something else.
Mm-hmm.
And with a transformation leader, you might be a tyrant in one situation because you have to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then you might become a servant leader in a different situation because that situation warrant you to change your leadership style.
Yeah, this person is able to adapt to any situation so that they can make sure that the assignment gets done and that the employees do it to the best of their ability.
Right. So the best way to handle that is to kind of assess the situation, assess the employees that are around you, because in some situations you have employees that are like very sensitive.
Yeah.
And so you might have to come with the servant leader style, where you might have employees that are very passive, and you might have to come with the tyrant style because they're the ones that you have to tell what to do every step of the way, and the tyrant is going to make that happen. Sometimes you might say, well, I'm just going to sit back and just let them do their job. And those are your leaders, your managers. If you have a room full of leaders and managers, then just sit back and let them do their job. Don't micromanage them.
Don't micromanage them, but learn how to coach in the process.
Right, you're coaching.
So you'll take those leaders and you'll place them where they need to be placed and allow them to do what they need to do.
Right, and that way they'll thrive in the situation.
And also that way they won't butt heads, because a lot of times when you get a bunch of leaders together, everybody's trying to
prove,
they
call it a pissing contest.
Basically, everybody trying to pee at the fire hydrant. I'm the man.
How far can you go?
I did this.
Yeah.
But that overall leader will learn how to manage those other leaders.
Right. So that concludes the topic of today's show. There are more leadership styles. I want you to go to mindsetgoshow.com. That's mindsetgoshow.com to get the rest of the leadership styles. And I want you to take time to go over these leadership styles and read the descriptions and find out where you are. And do your best to become a transformation leader. Yeah. And that's the leader that adapts to every situation, to every environment, and they help the situation thrive and not hinder it. Yeah. Well, I'm Ty Woods.
That's not how you do it.
Oh.
You're messing up the show.
Well, all right then. Rewind.
See, I messed the intro up. You messed the back part up. It's Chris and Ty show.
Well, why your name gotta be first?
Because alphabetical order. C come before T.
Oh. Well, how come it can't be ladies first? I was just saying.
I'm the leader.
Y'all tell me. Shouldn't I be first?
Oh, my man up there.
Ladies first?
But until next time.
Okay.
We love you.
C and T. I'm only doing it because it's C and T. C comes before the T.
C. Alphabet. And remember, when you change your mind, change your mindset. You change
where you go.
Until next time, mind,
set, go.